Hello, my name is Al Dudley. I'm a fourth generation Menhaden fish boat captain, and I was born and raised here in Carteret County, just east of Beaufort. And as far back as I can remember, that's what my people have been doing, is Menhaden fishing for a living. My granddaddy, Captain Roy Goodwin, he fished a boat named the Barnegat out of Atlantic City, New Jersey. And back then there was a famous radio announcer, Edward Trout. He went out with my granddaddy. And my granddaddy had a crew of men, mostly black men, out of Ferndale, Florida. A lot of them were. And they had the reputation of being the best shanty singers on the Jersey coast. Granddaddy Roy told me that the yachts used to come out of Atlantic City on pretty days and gather around the purse boat just to hear the men sing. But this Edward Trout made a recording, and I remember as a young and in my family there was an old 33 record that we would play, and you could hear the shanties of the men singing shanties on the record. So it was a piece of art. I started fishing for money with my daddy in 1966 on a boat called the Westland here out of Beaufort in the wintertime. And that was the time of year when all the Menhaden vessels from all along the East Coast and all down in the Gulf of Mexico would converge on Carteret County, waiting for the big winter run of fish coming from up north. And I know one year I fished up here in the late 60s, early 70s, it was 90 boats fishing out of Carteret County. At that time, it was 6 fish factories. It was 2 over in Moorhead, west of the Atlantic Beach Bridge, where Carteret Community College is now. And it was 2 over in West Beaufort, Harvey Smith's operation and Charles Davis's. And it was 2 here on Taylor's Creek, Beaufort Fisheries and Standard Products. Yeah, in the Menhaden business, through the years, you know, every fish boat captain, he has a big set of fish that he's proud of and everything. And I was lucky, I had a real good crew of men in the right place at the right time, and I was fishing the Coastal Mariner. She carried 2.5 million fish. And we made a sit behind Cape Lookout on the other side of the shoals one day, and we bailed 2,137,000. And I think that's recognized as the biggest set for one reason, because nobody else, even if they had the fish, they didn't have a boat that would carry it. So it's, my man's still proud of it, and it's what accomplishment. And I give them the credit. They worked hard for it. Of course, the North Carolina coast is notorious for its shoals and bad weather. Back then, we didn't have the weather reports you have now either. And Cape Lookout Knuckle was always a scary place, and it was on everybody's mind going around the Knuckle. And if you run up the Hatteras or Ocracoke and loaded your boat, you had to come back around. You could, you know, it's offshore a long ways. And I remember several times coming back and a southwester breeze up, and you thought it was the end. And I was fishing with my father in 1968, I think it was, when the Fenwick Island sank out here. And that's what he was doing. We'd come back, we'd got around before the weather got bad, and he was late getting back, and she sunk right off Cape Lookout. And there was another boat called the Amagansett that sank off here, and I think 7 men got drowned on her. But on this shore here, I know the Parkins sank off Atlantic Beach, and it was at least 13 men died on her. And the Charlie Lewis sank in the shoal, so it's a rough place, especially in the wintertime. And I've been in some bad storms. And I tell people, I think it's old saying, prayers made in rough weather are soon forgotten calm. Because I want to tell you, when you're on a boat and you think you're getting ready to drown, you'll make a lot of promises to the good Lord. And when this boat was fishing, the men went in the crow's nest is what it was called. This one doesn't have one quite as defined. A lot of them were sort of square with canvas around them, and they spent all day up there after Tucket looking for fish. Back in the 50s, probably late 40s really, they come out with the airplane. People would be flying and see all these menhaden, and they come at the idea that, well, heck, we can leave the boats to them. Theory behind menhaden fishing, you have two purse boats. It's just like the old whalers used to lower the boats down from David's when they spotted a whale. Well, that's what we do. When you spot a school of menhaden, you blow the horn. That signals the crew to run back to the purse boats. You lower them down, the men get in the purse boats. Half the purse seine is in this boat. This is what they call a captain boat. Half the purse seine is in that boat over there. That's what they call a mate boat. And when they get close enough to the fish in the right position, they let the bow line go, and the boats, one goes that way and one goes that way, and they circle the fish with this purse seine. The real hard work comes because the men in these purse boats, you'd have to be pulling this webbing up like this to pull these fish up off the bottom to get them high enough for that scoop net to get them on top of the water. So that's when these men would be singing the shanties. They would line up on the side of these purse boats and get lined up with their feet on the rail like this, and they'd have a lead singer, and he would start singing the shanty. And at a certain point, when he said something like "Sweet Rosianna," they'd all lay back and hold the net, get about a half a foot or a foot, and then they'd get back down and it'd all get in line again. He would sing another verse, and when he hit that note, that phrase, they'd all lay back, and they would keep these fish. They'd keep these fish pulled up from the bottom like this, where that net could get to them.